David Menzies for Rebel News, just outside of Belleville, Ontario. Well, folks, I'm at the native blockade. Well, we think it's natives blocking the CN rail here. We're into day 6 of this, and it's all about the ongoing protests that has sprung up in various places across the country regarding the $40 billion coastal gas line development in British Columbia. A project I believe 22 out of 22 native bands there have signed off on and want to see proceed. Now, to the north of me, there is law enforcement, and they seem to be just keeping an eye on things. I did come here on Monday night. I had a brief conversation with a member of law enforcement. He basically intimated that they couldn't guarantee my safety at nighttime, and suggested it would be a dangerous thing to proceed. And I'll tell you, it gets pitch black out here at night. Well, it is the daytime now, and I'm going to wander over to the protests where you see the Mohawk flags, and hopefully they'll be receptive to a interview, tell me what it is they're hoping to accomplish, how long they're going to be here, what they're trying to achieve by basically so far something like more than 150 passenger trains have been canceled. That's meant almost 25,000 rail passengers, and that doesn't even begin to look at the damage done to the freight rail that's going on in Canada. There is a giant traffic jam, if you will, of freight cars because of these blockades. So let's see what it is that they are indeed hoping to accomplish, given that what they are doing is illegal. There is a court injunction, yet for whatever reason, the law isn't being applied here. How you doing, guys? I'm good. I'm David Menzies, Rebel News, and I guess you guys are observing things. I just had a quick question. Evidently what they're doing is illegal, and there's an injunction against them, and I guess I'm just trying to find out, for the record, why the rule of law isn't being applied here, officer.
Sorry, sir, we can't really comment as to what's going on right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're not in a position to make a comment.
Okay, then is there someone here or that could, or
at scene right now? No, there's no media officer at scene that'd be in a position to make a comment.
Okay, all right. Thank you, guys. Hi there, ladies. Is there anyone that would like to come on camera?
I would not.
No. Okay, then. Hi, guys. Is there anyone that would like to come on camera for a brief interview?
How you're saying earlier about report back, right?
Okay. Well, I had a interesting exchange with two of the protesters here. For one thing, I'm not allowed to cross some imaginary line, even though I have to stress I am not in reserve territory. This is public land, but I don't want to cause a confrontation. One of the protesters said not once did they ever block the tracks physically. So the question arises, if that's the case, why doesn't CN just get these trains rolling? Well, sir, can you tell me what it is that you're hoping to accomplish?
We got to get them people out of. That's hard to explain.
I'm not going to film you.
No, it's we got to get them to the table and start realizing what's going on with reconciliation. First of all, that has to be done.
This is about reconciliation.
It's about everything. It's about the pipelines. It's about them being on land that's not Canadian. It's not Canadian. It's not provincial lands. That land was never surrendered, and it's an act of war, basically, right now, if you want to look at it in realistic terms. It is, and so. But sir, we can't go there. So,
as I understand it, though, I thought 22 out of 22 BC tribal councils reserves want this coastal gas line project to go ahead.
That's the elected council, which is basically government, Canadian government. It's not the hereditary councils. It's not the clan mothers. They're playing with a bunch of different sets of laws here, and they're using whatever ones fit their needs.
Can you give me an idea of the lay of the land here? I mean, is the rails are certainly, I imagine, they're federal property. I mean, it's not reserve property here, right?
Well, it's disputed, actually. Okay. To be honest with you, this land was taken away from us hundreds of years ago, and they were told the people the army actually come in and moved them, and they were told at that time that we want to put a road out here. If you want to build around here near this road, you got to help us put this road in. That's how they got that land. So it was never surrendered. It was never bought. It was never purchased. It was just taken, and we were drove back south from here. So if they want to get into the original treaties from hundreds of years ago, then they got to battle if they want to battle. So.
Well, there you have it, folks. We tried to get some of the protesters to come on camera and espouse their opinions. They're pretty camera shy here. Maybe it's because they are indeed breaking the law. In the meantime, you have to wonder how long this is going to be allowed to continue. As I said, it is against the law. There is an injunction against these protests, but law enforcement is not enforcing the law, and maybe it stems from a complete lack of leadership. I mean, where is Prime Minister Trudeau on this file? Well, he's in Africa, of course, vying for a UN Security Council seat as he goes about the continent handing out millions in taxpayer dollars to various dictators. Still, I think the time has come to enforce the rule of law. Or do we now live in a country where there are two rules of law, namely a rule of law for most of the people to follow and the rule of law of political correctness when it comes to certain identifiable groups, in which case it appears to be the rule of law does not apply? Well, certainly it's not applying right now as the economy suffers probably into the tens and hundreds of millions of dollars as this rail blockade continues. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, have you heard? Rebel News is going on a cruise. Go to rebelnewscruise.com, and I hope to see you on the ship come July as we head north to Alaska.